Hey there, welcome in. My name's Josh, and today I want to talk about expectations. I want to be talking about how to not get sad. So there's this Shakespeare's quote from All's Well That Ends Well, and it goes, "Oft expectations fail, and most oft there where most it promises." In modern English, that basically just means expectation is the root of all heartache. And the easy, cheeky answer is to say, well then therefore don't have any expectations so that you'll never have heartache, so that you'll never be disappointed. But that's really, that's not really possible to do if you're being honest. Nobody's that cynical. And then even if you do manage to become that cynical, you're just gonna be miserable. So let's not be cheeky for just a moment and figure out if there's another way that we can use this quote to help our lives not be miserable. Which basically just comes down to managing expectations, which is what this video is about anyway. So I recently just launched a, Road to Riot series, and I'm gonna be a cosplay artist at Riot one day. Like, there's expectations that go along with that. With anything that you do, you have an expectation of what you think is going to happen with whatever it is that you're doing. It just, we're human beings, that's what happens, we can't really avoid it. But something that I found is that I have often placed most of my satisfaction and hope and well-being on the outcome of that expectation. In the sense of, even when it comes to art, right? If I'm doing something artistically, if I'm drawing, if I'm painting, if I'm doing a piece, a lot of my enjoyment of that piece I found subconsciously, unintentionally, to be weighing on the reception it gets after it's done. How many likes it gets, how many compliments I get, how many retweets it gets, all the statistics, basically what other people value it to be. Or even apart from that, even just to take other people's opinions out of the equation, just how, whatever I expect it to do, if it doesn't do that, I get disappointed. It's like this video. If this video doesn't get, say, 100 views, then I'll be sad, And then, when the process of recording this, all of my enjoyment of it is put on hold and put into the future. And then I just have to hope and pray that future me can then withdraw this, hope, happiness account that I'm depositing. That's a weird bank analogy, but I hope it makes sense. And basically, it just puts me in this weird limbo in the present because I don't know if I can be happy, I don't know if I can be sad, I don't know how to view what I'm currently doing because all of my view of it and my worth of it and my evaluation of it is dependent on what happens in the future. And this was discouraging me because I constantly felt like I was living my life on hold, and I always had this low-key, lingering feeling of anxiety and apprehension because I didn't know how things were going to turn out. And I realized in a sort of breakthrough moment that what I'm doing, the joy of doing it in the present today, is the only reward that's worth it and that means anything. As in, the joy that I feel talking to a camera right now in an empty room, like I've told you about before, that's never gonna change. The joy that I feel creating and painting, that's not gonna change regardless of what happens on the other side. Regardless of how many views this video gets, regardless of how, if I end up at Riot or not, regardless of how, a painting I do in the future gets received, the joy of actually being on the journey, to use the cliche, or the actual joy of doing it in the moment, that in and of itself is my reward. And at the end of the day, even if I never publish it, even if I never get recognized by anybody else, the feelings that I get doing the act itself make the act itself worth it and worth doing. So all that to say, adjust your expectations in the sense that what you're doing right now, today, whatever it is, speaking in front of a camera, making your video series, making a vlog, drawing, painting, sketching, whatever artistic pursuit that you're doing, have that be independent from whatever other goal that you're wanting that piece to accomplish. Do whatever it is you're doing for the sake of doing it, for your why, whatever your reason to sit down and create is. And if your reason to sit down and create is so you can get a job in the industry, it's okay, that's great, but then now, therefore, your entire worth and enjoyment of what you're doing is hinged on the fact of if you get a job on the industry or not. So I would recommend that instead of putting it on some other third-party oriented goal of getting into the industry or getting famous or whatever it is, have your expectation be, I'm doing this because I feel good when I do it. And I don't mean to just shoot straight hedonism at you, just do whatever makes you happy. It's that's not entirely what I'm saying. What I'm saying is to put more emphasis on the present and don't put your happiness on hold for some result that you don't know if it'll happen or not, and just do it for the sake of doing it itself. Like, another way to think of this is like, why make excellent work? Why be excellent in the first place? Why, try hard? Why do it? And some people could say, oh, do it because, if it's really good, you'll get more money, you'll get more fame, you'll get more accolades, maybe you'll win an award. That's why you should be excellent. That's why you should try hard. And it's like, well, okay, maybe, but why don't you just be excellent and try hard for the sake of having something be excellent? Like, isn't trying hard to make something beautiful for beauty's sake enough? But I feel like that even like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's such like beaten into us that you should do something so that somebody else can validate it. It's like, why not just do it for the sake of doing it? Why not just make something beautiful for the sake of it being beautiful? Like, why not just create videos for the sake of how it makes you feel, for the sake of creating videos because you love it? This is where people talk about passion all the time. So adjust your expectations of stop waiting for other people to validate you and let you know if you can be happy or not, and stop waiting to see what's going to happen, and adjust your expectations to, even if nothing happens with this, even if this video right now gets 5 views, even if this post that I'm making doesn't get a single retweet, even if I don't get a job at Riot, is what I'm doing still worth it? That's a question you need to ask yourself. And I think it's going to be really telling if you continue to do what you do or not, because if we take away all of those other qualifiers, you're going to find out if you really have a passion and a love for what you're doing, and that's what you need to get back to, not all the other stipulations that you're kind of banking on. So hey, thanks for watching. I hope that helped you. That was a little bit rambly. Sorry if you could hear the dudes mowing the grass outside. I don't know if you can or not. I'll find out in post. But anyway, hey, this is Thoughtful Thursday. Again, I hope that helped you. I have stuff. I stream art on Twitch over, trying to get a job at Riot. I have a Patreon for podcasts and stuff, and then I have social media as well. Oh, and my Discord. I never plug my Discord. My Discord, I love it. You should totally join. We can hang out and kick it. So thanks again for watching. I hope this helped you, and I will see you next time.